Hello. Now, I find it extraordinary that Boris has had so little support, or really all we've heard over the last few days is a condemnation of Boris, and in many ways rightly so. I certainly wouldn't pull back from that condemnation myself. But I find it extraordinary if I compare Boris's undignified exit to that of, let's say, Mrs. Thatcher. There are points of comparison, except in the case of Thatcher, no matter what you hear on the BBC and the media to the contrary, there wasn't one single story. There was a good division of stories. I remember very vividly the day when Mrs. Thatcher announced her stepping down. And I was teaching that day in a school in London, and two members of staff came running into the staff room with great joy and slightly stained corduroy trousers. And otherwise, the rest of the staff room, and that would be getting on for 60 odd people, kept relatively quiet. And later on, I heard noises of dismay and concern. So the idea that everybody was celebrating at Mrs. Thatcher's departure simply is not true. However, when you look at Boris's departure, it would be very difficult to find people who have not been celebrating and have not been cheering on those people who resigned and forced Boris out. For myself, I actually think the situation was badly handled partly by Boris. I think it's a great disaster that he was forced out in the way that he was, because it means that the choice for a future Prime Minister is from an incredibly small group of people, most of whom are tarred with the Boris brush. And I was very heartened to hear on LBC, I was very heartened to hear his sister, who I've said before, I was with his sister and his father at the last election. And I was very heartened to hear her talking about her brother's positive attributes, and he certainly had some. But I think he was very badly advised, and I think that he certainly is disingenuous, he certainly is not direct or truthful or honest, and these things have played against him. And I would like to add rightly so, but it is good to hear somebody actually defending him and actually pointing out that there have been some good things that he's done. I don't think that Brexit is one of them, because I was never a Brexiteer. And I don't think he has got Brexit done. I think he's brought it across the line, and that may be something. But to get Brexit done, in my view, would be to make it function in a positive way, and it hasn't. In fact, our economy is in a disastrous state, and partly because of Brexit, partly because of COVID, partly because of the Ukraine war, but Brexit has not helped us. Equally, I don't think Brexit has helped Europe. In fact, Brexit has hindered Europe, and both Europe and Britain are going to take a long time to get over that. But get over it we must. So there's a certain amount of stuff on Twitter at the moment condemning Rachel Johnson for talking and defending her brother. I think you should have a look at the at her speech, and it's good to listen to it. It's good to see some perspective, and I think history will not be as biased as maybe we have all been over the last few days. At least I hope so. Boris is not necessarily a bad person. but he's certainly a greatly flawed individual.